Hi everyone, and welcome to the 4D and Wakanda user group meeting for January 18th, 2016. Here's the agenda for today. Let me just set this up for a single page. That works a lot better. We're going to do a little 4D method news, some 4D news from Jim Sobczak and Brian Young in California there. Then we'll get some Wakanda news from Jiang Liu, and perhaps later also from Ricardo Mello, if we're lucky enough to have him join us when he's finished with the meeting. Then we'll hear the 4D iNug e-digest from Ed Hammond. We'll talk a little bit about what's to know in the knowledge base. I'll go over that, and I'll also handle the A4D segment for today. And then we'll have our special topic demo. We'll take a look at the new 4D Write Pro from Roland Lannuzel, who's joining us from Paris, France. Ought to be very interesting, new features for V16. And we'll wrap up with some questions and answers and talk about our next meeting. So again, I'm Brent Raymond. This is the 4DMethod 4D and Wakanda user group. You can check out our website at 4dmethod.com, and we can be reached at 4dmethod@gmail.com. We get together about every 6 weeks to bring together a scattered community of developers and users, and we stream the meetings, sometimes more successfully than others. Always little hiccups here and there, but we find our way through them. But we're lucky to have YouTube Live, and so that people can join us from anywhere in the world. All the meetings from previous years, going on years now, several years actually, are recorded, and the presentations can be viewed again and shared with others. We try to provide fresh new content and exposure for users and developers everywhere. So a little bit about 4DMethod, what's happened in 4DMethod in the past few weeks. We had a little poll on the site, which are always interesting to sort of shed some light into the 4D community. In this case, it was, how do you connect to 4D? Server client was still a majority of the means of connection to 4D. I wasn't sure how many people would come back and say that their primary means was the web server or even the back-end API, which ended up being a minority. Again, as I've blathered on about in the past, back-end APIs are great, are incredible ways to open up your data and your application to other users and other consumers of that data. But so just some numbers about the community out there. Standalone and web server also at the top. 4D mobile creeping up. And then over to Jim Sobczak and Brian Young in California for some news about what's going on with 4D. Jim?
Welcome everyone. Happy New Year from the 4D offices in San Jose, where we're getting some rain finally, and I think our drought is just about over at this point. Tons of rain, lots of snow in the mountains, so we're happy to see that. Our thanks to Brent and Ed, as always, for organizing these meetings and for inviting 4D and Wakanda teams to participate. We're really excited to see Roland's presentation on 4D Write Pro, which we haven't seen ourselves, so looking forward to that. A lot happening in the new year here at 4D. Of course, the big news is the release of V16 on January 10th. I know Brent has a slide about that, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. But we encourage all of you to go to blog.4d.com to see an outstanding representation of the new features in V16. Internally, we're seeing lots of migrations from V15 to V16, and that happened almost immediately after the release. So it's great to see that a lot of you are already ready to move your applications to V16, and we welcome your feedback on that. So I'm not going to go into the features here because, like I said, we have a slide on that a little bit later. That was January 10th, the release. On January 11th, we opened the beta program for V16 R2. So in keeping with what we've been doing for the last few years here, We're rolling out a new R release every quarter. We hope that in addition to you looking at V16, you'll also look at the V16 R2 beta program, because we really need your feedback on that so we can make sure that the R releases are solid, continue to be solid every quarter. So going backwards a little bit, V15.3 hotfix 1 was also released. That's the version that is compatible with Sierra. We're happy to get that out. We will have a version that is certified for Sierra. That will be V15.4. Right now, that's due out in February. Of course, those dates are subject to change, but that's what we're hoping for. And even further back, V14, we've ended sale for V14. We will end support for V14 about a month from today. So February 17th will be the last day that you'll be able to get support on V14. All that is on our products page at 4D.com. In addition to V16, we're gearing up for the World Tour 2017. Brian will talk a little bit about that. We're really excited about the cities we're going to visit. We've already booked the 6 cities, the hotels in each city, and we will have a training in each of the 6 cities. Last year we only did 3 of the cities, but we had a lot of feedback from the 4D community. We want to have a training in every city, so we will be doing that. That will be JPR and AD doing the training there. So we're looking forward to getting out on the road starting in April. And finally, just a reminder, I know I pound this home every meeting, the solutions page at 4D.com for you developers who are looking for referrals and you are partners. Make sure that your partner site, your partner skills, applications, etc., that information is updated so that when people go to 4D.com, look at the solutions page and look for a developer in their area, the end users, whomever, make sure that you're being well represented on the solutions page there.
Can I just say one thing?
Sure.
For the people that aren't looking for referrals, it's also a great place to put your information up there just to show how you're part of the 4D community and get recognition in that way.
Good point.
For your expertise.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. So that's all I have. And yeah, so thank you very much. Enjoy today's meeting.
So
Thanks,
as far as, oh, go on, Brent.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, sorry, I didn't review the slides right before the meeting. I don't think there was a slide from me, was there? There was just continuing on from here.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, excuse me if I'm distracting. We had to switch the meeting link, and I'm still monitoring the old link to try to make sure everybody gets into this meeting. So as Jim was talking about with the World Tour, 6 cities, Chicago, Boston, Raleigh. That's our East Coast tour, and our West Coast tour is Denver, Long Beach, San Jose. The really cool thing is we've got the topics for the training figured out. We are excited to be talking about modernizing 4D apps in multiple ways. Modernizing the architecture, the techniques you use, the UI, and I think it's going to be a really great training. So especially for the group that joins us here in 4DMethod, I think you're going to be really interested to take a look at that description. We'll be announcing it really soon by the end of the month. That's all I have, Brent.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's great. It's a little insight into what's being covered in the tour. Modernizing applications is always a big topic with our with the user base out there with 4D. Some of the applications having been around for many a year, and can really benefit from some modernization and what do they call it? Refreshing. Good word. Yep. Thank you, Ed. And speaking about that, coming back to the V16 release, some of the highlights of V16, which is a very substantial release for 4D, it being now a high-speed object database. It can store JSON type, serialized type directly in the data file, so you can operate your database in a schema or schemaless manner, and that's certainly something that will help it play along nicely with other more recently developed applications out there. Up to a 10 times speed improvement just by upgrading. That'll be cool. I'd be interested in hearing people's numbers about their speed improvements. The fact that you can have a 64-bit database cache, huge. That's most of us can fit our entire data set inside cache now, which is wonderful. The opportunity to delve into asynchronous programming with the new multi-threaded worker processes. There's been a lot of discussion on the NUG about how to take advantage of that, and people are starting to code with that and see how they can really speed up some background processes with those multi-threaded worker processes. Again, more advances with list box objects, them being fully customizable via code, 50 new commands, and of course the new 4D Write Pro, a long-awaited update to 4D Write, which includes a powerful integrated text engine natively within 4D. And just coming back to how big of a release this is for 4D, a lot of questions for legacy applications, from people who use legacy applications out there are how is 4D keeping up? How is 4D what's new with 4D, and all of these features are really wonderful things to take advantage of and to integrate into not only the legacy applications, but to show off your modern designs for new applications. I know I'm very interested in taking advantage of the schema-less approach to a lot of solutions that we're coding currently. So yeah, it's a lot to talk about with users about what's happening with 4D, and very many languages out there are not stable yet in a multi-threaded environment, and 4D is already releasing those capabilities. So it's really great to see 4D showing off its power and keeping up and keeping ahead of the game. So back to Jiang Lu in California there for some Wakanda news.
Sorry, Brent. Because of the schedule, we're going to move that to the end.
Okay. All right. So Ricardo will be joining us, in fact, later on in the meeting, and we can look forward to that. I'll just skip that slide, and we'll head straight to the E-Digest with Ed Hammond.
Thanks, Brent. Pretty active 6 weeks on the NUG. Everybody kind of took a couple weeks off in the early part of December, and then somebody poked David Adams and woke him up. But we'll start with a thread on Amazon Web Services storage gateway for storing images and the 4DD file. That was a thread started by Balander Walia, and Tim Penner, and Bruno Legay, Tom Benedict, and Thomas Mall had good advice for him on what was a good idea and what was not. Then David Adams woke up. He posted several tips. One of them, escaping escape characters, particularly when you're trying to run unit tests and put sample data into the 4DMethod editors. Then he had a thread on the best way to find, or maybe it was more of a question, what was the best way to find something in an array of objects? That thread got into the nature of 4D objects, the C object construct versus JSON, but also included a discussion of snowy owls and the conversion of Celsius to Fahrenheit. He continued on his object quest, starting a thread on object commands, confirming a few points. This got rather involved with John DeSoy, JPR, Kirk Brooks, Wayne Stewart, and it was an open discussion of the current state of included and missing commands in 4D's object handling. And the roadshow We'll include a glimpse at some new commands, apparently. One I'm very interested is solve problem. The second one is 3D print money. And of course, the ever popular get hell of a. Later on, an angry old man will shake his fist at a cloud. We have David Adams again, posting more tips, binary insertion code, and that highlights that the knowledge base does miss some of the old tech notes, and a knowledge of algorithms is good. So old tech notes can be valuable. He continues on with JSON schema and some object format examples for thought and discussion. David's a very cerebral guy, and he likes to dig into things at a very base level, and all of his discussions are well thought out and are a good read no matter what. Wayne Stewart had a thread on combined getters and setters, pluses and minuses of those approaches, whether to have them separated or combined. And Kirk Brooks started a thread on why does a converted V13 database limit text vars to 32K, which wound up being handled by David Adams, Miyako, JPR, and Tim Nevels. It turns out that once he ran the MSC on that database, the limit was lifted, probably some of the old settings for compatibility. And a more recent thread, just in the last few days, was a discussion on website development path by Keith Goebel, and is a very good summary of options for web app development with 4D. A number of people were announcing products. Win32 API released version 8.1.1 and very quickly 8.1.2. Pluggers Software has released Canvas plugin 2.2, NTK plugin 3.1, SQLite plugin 4.0, Hoybach Media Group, is that the correct pronunciation?
That's what I say.
Yeah, well, they released Reports 5.0 and Calendar 7.0, and those are available for V15 and 16. So some very active threads on the NUG, particularly the David Adams stuff. Please look it over. A lot of good things to come. Also, you want to peruse the 4D forums because those are more active in regards. You can put screenshots in them and code examples. And sometimes it's a little bit easier to get some feedback direct from 4D there. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Ed. That's always a wealth of knowledge on the NUG, and you can check out all the topics that Ed covered at the 4dmethod.com e-digest tab, and of course the links to register for this an email feed of all of these topics is available on this slide, which are also available at 4DMethod under this post. And all of you don't have to receive these discussions via email. All of the posts are also available on the Nabble with the link on this slide as well. So jump in there and join the discussion. So moving on to what's to know in the knowledge base. Speaking of the MSC, the Maintenance and Security Center? No, Maintenance and Something Center.
I'll correct you.
Yeah. Security, Maintenance and Security Center. The verification process warns in V16 only, now warns of existing picked format images in your structure. Anywhere in the picture library, I believe, but also in the menu bars and forms. And that's a handy feature because anybody with legacy applications, it's a bit of a chore to chase down the old picked pictures, and those are moving out of, those are no longer supported. Correct me if I'm wrong, currently they're supported only with if you have the QuickTime enabled. However, perhaps that's not even available in v16, but someone hopefully can help me out with that. Then there's one on converting 4D Write documents to 4D Write Pro. It's actually a nice demo video. I'm not sure if we'll be going over that today. I think we're concentrating more on bookmarks. However, for any of us with legacy 4D Write capabilities in our applications, that will be a nice tutorial for how to update the documents directly to 4D Write Pro in a very painless manner. And then another one I'd like to highlight is just, these are all actually just tech tips, nice little informative tech tips, is another one on the awareness of virtual machine deployment concerning the number of CPU cores that are available to 4D. Now, sometimes that's a little bit tricky to know how many cores are dedicated to your 4D application machine, or the machine running your 4D application. But the 4D information component, for lack of actually going and seeing how your machine was set up, the 4D information component, the 4D IC that we've discussed here in 4DMethod before, can help you sort that out. And you can see where, in this example, the total number of cores is 1, whereas 4D requires at least two cores, and that can point to, again, the 4D IC component to the rescue to point to potential issues with your 4D installation. So yeah, the knowledge base is a terrific resource, and yes, and coming back to, someone commented about the verify will also warn of buttons using old picked formats, and it will really help you snoop out the use of old format pictures all over your application, and I see some of that in my future, and v16 will really help out with that. So yep, those were just some of the ones that I found interesting. Lots to know in the knowledge base. Moving on here, we have our segment called Hey 4D, where I give a little shout out to 4D about something I'd like to see in their development. And in this one has to do with the knowledge base. In the knowledge base, you can currently search on keywords. You can filter on years and times when the knowledge base articles came out and the versions and the products. But what about filtering by author? I often find that I really dig certain authors for knowledge base articles, and it would be very interesting to be able to filter by articles that they've written in the past, to go through and check out what else they've been working on. I know that I would think that the intention is to look like they were all written by the same person, but it doesn't always come through like that. But also, it would be nice to link to searches or collections of knowledge base articles in a sort of URL format, such as the query for utility, or and describe a sorting. I forget what that's called offhand, but it's a query string. Query string. Yeah.
So when you say collection, you mean similar topics on the knowledge base, 4 or 5 different articles?
Exactly. So say in this query string here, you're able to deliver send someone a link in the knowledge base for a query on all utility, on all knowledge base articles with utility, say, in the name. So some ability to have links to certain queryable articles and knowledge base would be really terrific.
It's a name selection or a tag?
It's the same, starting with how we search currently in the knowledge base. If that could be reflected in the URL, then that would be, we'd have the ability to post or to share those links elsewhere much easier for people who have access to them, at least. Anyways, yeah, and we can more to discuss about that. Again, if you'd like to add comments about any of these topics, you can add them to our Reddit live discussion thread. And if you have any other ideas that we can include in Hey 4D, that would be great. If you could suggest them via email or over Reddit or in any other way, pull me aside on the street. But as usual with 4D, it'd be a lot cooler if you did. Thank you. Again, it's possible to submit your feature request directly to 4D through the 4D forum, and also to vote on previously requested features through a star rating. And there's a knowledge base article number 76726 that you can see how to do that. It's a nice way to let your to drive the development of the product yourself. So on to our demo for today. Special topic on the new 4D Write Pro. We have Roland Lannuzel, as I mentioned, joining us from 4D in Paris. Just a little bit about Roland's history. After studying electronics, he went into industrial IT as a developer and a consultant, building solutions for customers with a variety of databases and technologies. But in the late 80s, he fell in love with 4D and worked on systems that are focused on accounting and billing and email. And then he joined 4D in 1997. His contributions include, in his lengthy history at 4D, designing specifications, developing testing tools, training users, and speaking to the 4D community at many conferences and soon to be 4DMethod meetings. And he continues to actively shape the future of 4D by defining new features and database development tools. And he has, of late, been integral in the update of 4D Write to 4D Write Pro with the new version of 4D v16. Yeah, so welcome, Roland, and thank you for joining us. And we're really looking forward to your demo.
Okay, hello everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Oh yeah, I can see me on screen, so I guess you can see me too. So this is my very first presentation live on Google, so I'm a bit excited and stressed too. I hope everything is going to be okay. So let's go. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see. Okay, so let's go from here. So everyone sees my screen? I hope so. So let's start with a little view of the 4D Write Pro language in the documentation. So this is what we are going to talk about today. As you can see, there is a lot of new functions in v16 concerning the 4D Write Pro. So we are mainly going to speak about bookmarks. So we can create, delete bookmarks, get bookmarks, and get bookmark range. This is the first step of our chat and demo tonight. And we are going to also to speak about insert functions. We will see we can insert documents, breaks, and pictures into 4D Write Pro documents. There is something new we're going to talk about too. It's the command WP new itself, which has been updated in v16 in very significant way. So let's get rid of this page and let's go to the first demo. So the first demo is how do I about the bookmarks. So I guess you all know the how do I databases. The purpose of this database is to demonstrate as simply as possible new functions of 4D, 4D right, or whatever. So we're going to talk about bookmarks right now. So what are bookmarks? In regular books, you all know a bookmark is a piece of paper that you can put in somewhere in your book just to find some places or some important stuff in your books. So bookmarks in 4D Write Pro are ranges. If you have already used 4D Write Pro, you know we talk a lot about ranges. Ranges is parts of documents. So they can be named, created, and listed to be accessed quickly afterwards. They can be managed by 4D Write Pro widget. So I guess most of you have already seen this widget in 4D v15. So we have a new tab here to manage the widgets. But the thing we are going to talk about is about programming. So you will see it's very easy to manage bookmarks yourself by programming. So let's have a little demo. So this is a very simple document. And in this document, there are a couple of bookmarks. Yeah, so you don't see them. They are completely invisible, but trust me, they are present inside this document. How do you get the bookmarks? You have a new function in 4D, which is called get bookmarks. That's easy. It will fill up an array. It's already filled. I've tried the demo before. That will give you the list of the bookmarks present in the document. The bookmarks are just named names that will allow you to find them afterwards. So once this list is filled, you can click, for instance, on one of them, geography. And what can we do with these bookmarks? We will use another function, which is WP get bookmark range, that will return a range that will match.
Oh boy.
Hello. Did we
Lost Roland.
Yeah, looks like he fell off there. I think he's logging back in.
How many hours of testing did we do on this one?
Yeah, enough, but apparently not enough. So I guess we'll give him a second, right when he was getting to the exciting part.
Is it worth doing a Wakanda update while we wait?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Since Ricardo has a limited amount of time. We got to sort that echo out there, Brian, one way or another. Ricardo, would you like to cut in and do a quick Wakanda update?
Sure. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Great. Let me just jump to my things here. I have a little list here. So Wakanda updates. Let's go. Thank you again, Brent, for the invitation, and hello to everybody. I'm right now. Yeah, I'm not that one. That's the dearest Sean that did last time. But this time I'll give you guys a little introduction. So what we have as news since last time, we participated in one event was the Gartner event. Gartner holds a yearly event that defines the next 4 years of what they believe it's going to be the best trends and the best innovation that we need to follow in terms of mobile and developing your business. We were there. We were invited because, as you guys know, Wakanda was named a cool vendor for Gartner this year. It was very interesting. They talk about there's a blog post that's going to be released, but they mainly talk about what they believe the companies are becoming those days. They tag as a bimodal company which has like 2 IT departments that go a little bit. One more stable that takes care of the core business of the company, and they have also in every single IT department those days a little bit of experimentation, something that goes really fast, something that goes in a different speed than the legacy team. So it was nice to see that Wakanda can fit both ways, because we have right now with the version that the last version that we released, the 1.1.3. You have the best in terms of developing for mobile with Angular 2, with Ionic 2, or Angular 1 and Ionic 1. But also we provide all the connectors for the legacy system. So it was nice. There is a blog post coming, so you guys can keep an eye. The next, well, talking about that, we released a new version, 1.1.3. The version was related to some of the little troubles we had with the new Mac OS and the new computers that Mac is releasing with that bar that change dynamically. So we fixed that. We got a good return from our clients saying that is working well now. We are very excited for the release of the 2.0 version, which is going to be end of February. That is actually a major change on the version, and we are coming with some very cool things with the virtual data class, which makes you connect to pretty much every single API or database that you can imagine. We have what we call also the multi-model, so we're extending our model to visualize both Wakanda and MySQL and Oracle and an API all in the same time. So you don't need to switch models to see all your data, which is pretty cool. So there's a lot of features coming. It is a major release, and we are planning a big campaign in terms of media and marketing. And the last is, I think Sean mentioned that last time, but I want to reinforce that we are in the next NGConf, is the biggest Angular conference in Salt Lake City. We are Diamond sponsors right now, so we are one of the biggest guys on the block for the event. So we look forward to see if anybody in the 4DMethod is interested to participate. Please let me know, drop me a line. I'll try my best to see if we have some guests tickets that we could hand them over. So that's pretty much all I have.
That's great. Yeah, that'd be something to see the demo at the NGConf. 4DMethod might take you up on those tickets, Ricardo.
But if you guys are coming, because this is so you need to buy tickets and everything. So if you're serious about coming, yeah, please contact me, and we'll try to work that out.
Excellent. We had a question from the group here from Eric Naujak. When did 1.1.3 of Wakanda ship?
Probably 10 days ago. It's very recent.
Okay.
So, and it's mainly focused on the new version of the Mac OS Sierra. We had some, by the way, it was not just Wakanda, apparently 4D also. We had some technical support tickets opened related to that. So there's something about the new Macs and the new Sierra that goes a little, it needs some fine tuning. I'm saying that, but I'm not sure if there is a 4D version coming along, or if it's needed. So for Wakanda, it was needed.
Yeah, as mentioned before, 10.4, not 10. I'm sorry, 15.4 is going to be the Sierra certified version.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Ricardo. Thanks for joining us to share a little bit about that. I did also see that Wakanda introduced a new partners program recently for users to join the partners program who do mobile want to offer mobile or web app development support and front end or back end development experience. So there's a
yeah. If you want, I can give you a little overview. And you're completely right, and it's going so well. We have about more than 20 partners now, pretty much all over the world. We're going to release a map that shows where are the partners, but mainly we also we're trying to build a network where partners and us as well, we work collaboratively. So if you have the capacity to create mobile projects, Wakanda will be more than glad to give those projects to you as well. So it goes in both ways, because we are seeing a pipe of requests coming, and we want to expand our capacity of doing professional service and create this network of services around the world. So there is a process you can apply directly through our website. There is a training related to that as well. There's some fees, but they are not very charged at this point. I don't remember how much it is, but they are easily paid if you have at least one project with us. So, and you have discounts in terms of the license that you buy for your clients and so on. Very interesting program.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks again, Ricardo. And we're gonna hop back into our demo from Roland. Hopefully, we can stabilize his connection there. And I'm just gonna pop back onto that slide. And Roland, are you there?
Okay, I'm unmute now. You should hear me.
Great,
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry for this interruption. I have no idea why this happened. So I'm going to keep the Safari window small in the corner so I can check. So I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, so I have no idea when it stopped working, so I'm going to get back to my document here. So I'm going to show you the first command, which is get bookmarks, that will fill up an array of text that will give you all the names of the bookmarks that are present in your document. And once you have this list present, you can click on the bookmark and see the text, the section of text they correspond to. So how do we do that? I check on geography, for instance. So I get the range using the command wp get bookmark range. I just send the name of the bookmark I'm interested in from my document, and it returns a range. So I just only have to use the wp select range to see what the range the bookmarks corresponds to. So that's pretty easy to understand. You can also, I'm going to delete bookmark first because I've created them before. Delete. Okay. And I'm going to create a new bookmark, for instance, on Pampas. So I just create bookmark, name it Pampas. Okay, so what do I do? I'm going to bigger. I'm going to create another one. Sorry. Create bookmark. So I just name my bookmark. This one is Kuyo. So I get the range of my selection in my text, and I use the new command wp create bookmarks using the range I just get from my selection. And that's it. I just call again the command wp get bookmarks just to update my list on my interface here. So I just created Kuyo. And of course, bookmarks are return ordered by appearance inside the document. Introduction is the first, and Patagonia is the last one. And there is something also to understand. I don't know if you could hear that the first time, but regions, for instance, is a bookmark, and bookmarks can be inside of other bookmarks, and they could overlap each other. There are no rules except they have their names must be unique, and that's it. So for instance, here you have region that goes from here to the end, and other bookmarks are included inside regions. And of course, you can delete bookmarks too. Just give the name of the bookmark you want to delete, refresh your list, and that's it. So of course, deleting bookmark does not delete the text, it just deletes the bookmarks on the text. So this is very easy to understand. There is a lot of analogy with real bookmarks in paper books, in real books. So we'll see a little bit later what we can do with these bookmarks in 4D. So let's go to the next. How do I database, which is about insertion. So this is a second topic about Write Pro new commands. It's insertions. So the first thing is about the command new for the WP new, which is not new. This should be improved, because until the V16 you could create empty documents or starting with HTML or blobs, but now you can give as argument a range to the command for the WP new. For instance, here I use a range. Let's take this range, including the picture, from a mappa mundi to the end of the picture, and I'm going to create a document with this range. So just one thing before I do that, I want to show you in the main document I have document show page frames. In the original document I have a header here and I have the main text and I don't have footer, right? So I'm just going to select again the range I want to use to create a new document, and when I use the command create document, as you can see, the header has been copied into the new document, which is very convenient for what we are going to do later. Not only the header, but the margin settings, everything has been used to create the new document starting from this range. So this is very, very useful. What we can do too is insert document. So this is a brand new command. So let's imagine we have this document here on the right, and we have the target document, on the left, and the target document on the right. So let's make a little selection here on the target document. What am I going to do with this document? Am I going to replace, to append or prepend this document to the selection here? Let's say, for instance, append. So I want this document to be after this one. So I'm going to insert this document. As you can see, oh, I forgot to take the picture. But as you can see, it has been inserted just after the selection. And if I want to replace, for instance, I can also insert document, and everything that was selected has been replaced. Of course, it could have been put before. These are three options of the first argument you send to the command. You can replace, append, or prepend the document. And there is also other option, which is what is going to happen with the selection of my target selection. If I exclude from the next range, that means that this range is going to be kept intact after the command. For instance, if I append, as you can see, the range here has not been changed at all. So you can also do more things before or whatever you want. So you have a lot of possibilities of inserting documents inside another document where you want, and decide what is going to happen to the target range of your document. So this was the main thing of insert document. You have also the possibility to insert breaks. So this is very easy to understand. For instance, you have your cursor here. You can, let's say, append a line break, for instance. So you can do this by programming too. And if you have a selection here, I want to prepend, let's use prepend. I want to insert a break page before this. So if I insert a break page, as you can see here, oh, it's a section break that I inserted, but let's say page break, insert break. So I have a page break that has been inserted here, and it works fine. I have the header that appears on page 2. So you can insert break, you can insert page break or line breaks. This is arguments of the new command wp insert break. There is something else in this how do I, but doesn't matter. You can get the number of pages of your document. So I think these two how do I's are pretty clear. So let's go now to the main menu, which is the demo. What can we do with that? Before going to this demo, I'm going to launch a little PDF just to tell you what I'm going to show you. Let's have a look on which is a regular invoice. Of course, it has been simplified, sorry, just to understand what the demo is going to do. So this is a huge request from our customers. I'd like to create a document from scratch, but using a template. So what's an invoice? Let's put some color on it. So in a regular invoice, you have usually a header, you have a text at the beginning of your invoice, you may have an invoice reference, you have product lines, invoice lines, then you have a total, then you have again some text and whatever, a footer if you need. So let's imagine we have a template now with all these informations present in the template. So let's colorize it again just to make it more clear. So you have here your variables or your fields that belongs to your template, your company name, the letter you want to send to your customer whose name is present here. Then you have the invoice reference. Then you have the lines of your invoice, and then the total of your invoice and the end of your invoice. And if your invoice does not fit on a single page, you may have to print or to create in your final document, not in invoice reference, but continued. And you may also have to insert a subtotal if it all does not fit in a single page. So let's go a little bit further. So what are we going to do with this template? We're going to use bookmarks. We're going to give names to all of these sections of your templates. Of course, the first one could be named header. Let's call it company, letter start, invoice reference page 1, invoice reference page next, and invoice line, subtotal, total, letter M. So this is pretty easy to do, as we had seen a couple of minutes ago. And finally, let's see what we want to do with that. We have our template that will be used. So we will use the command insert document using the ranges that will be provided by the bookmarks of the templates. And you will create this kind of documents. You have the header, the beginning of the letter, the invoice reference, a couple of invoice lines. It does not fit on the first page. You have more lines than this. So you have to print or to add the subtotal on your document. You insert a page break, just to go further. And finally, you have a page 2. So you have another reference of your invoice to continue, just to specify it's not the full invoice, it's just what's continued. you go on with what you still have on your invoice lines. You finally set up the total and you end your invoice. So it's the same document, and there is, just remind, there is only a page break here on this document. So it's one document with 2 pages. So I have a resume here. So I have a template on the left with a header that will be used once or twice if I have more than 1 page in my final document. I have a beginning of a letter in my invoice. I have an invoice reference. I use the invoice line as many times as needed according to the invoice lines you find in your database. The subtotal is calculated during the loop. It's pretty easy to understand too. I guess you are very used to this kind of manipulation. Then you insert a break page. You print or not the header again, the invoice reference. You finish with the invoice lines and you print the total. So this is what we're going to see now in the demo database. So demo is called WP Bookmarks database. So let's launch it. Oh, sorry, this is because I have a French version of my macOS. This is why this is in French, but it doesn't matter. I have here a template editor. Oh, maybe I could switch in. This is going to be quick. Yes, I am. I think it will be more clear for everyone if this is not my computer, sorry. Add, use English, thank you. Do not relaunch. Okay, much better. So I have here an introduction that tells you everything that I already told you, so no need to read it. Can skip this part. The second part here is a template editor. So we have, let's take the first one, which is the most simple. In this template, which more looks like a real invoice this time, we have a couple of bookmarks. So let me introduce you the new item here in the bookmark widgets. So you can see we have invoice line, we have a subtotal, and we have total, and that's it. We have only 3 bookmarks in this template. As you can see, the header is very big. It goes from the top here down to there. So the quantity, article type, etc. is part of the header. So it will be automatically repeated each time we have a page break. The invoice line is only this single line here. The subtotal is here, and the total is almost the same, but with the end of the letter included in the grand total bookmark. So I have a little test button here just to set up some random data inside my template, just to check if everything fits in the size. So it seems to work okay. So let's go to invoice samples now. So using this template, I'm going to generate invoices. So I have my customers here on the left, and each time I click on a customer, I check for his bill, and I create his invoice. So as you can see here, I have break pages when needed, but I'm going to try to find one which fits on a single page. I find one, I'm sure. Okay. I have big customers, so they all, I saw one.
It does say continued on the next page.
Yes, there is another page, as you can see. So this is well, let's focus on this one. So as you can see, there is a header here. The header goes from here to here, and then I have all my invoice lines. Then I have my subtotal, which is here. We'll go back to the template editor if you want. So this is the subtotal, right? Then I have a page break. I have the footer that belonged to the template 2. I have my header again. I have the end of my invoice lines. And then I have my grand total. Back to the template editor, just to be clear. I want to show you again the invoice line, which is here, the subtotal that goes from here, that displays the subtotal here. Oh, maybe you'd like to see something else. I'd like to see the expressions. So as you can see here in my templates, I have pieces of text that belongs to my database. I have first name plus last name, the address, the city plus zip code, etc. And here I have expressions like substring or round values. And inside the subtotal, here I have a variable whose name is vTotalHT. And in the grand total, I have string of vTotalTTC. These are variables that are calculated when I'm using the invoice sample. Okay, in my programming, I just loop in my invoice. We can have a look on the code if you want. But as you can see, I have a footer, so I don't have to care about the footer. I know for the right pro will put the header again and the footer again on every page. I don't have to take care of it. It will be done automatically. The only thing I have to take care of is, let's go back to the values, the invoice line, which is here, the subtotal which has a couple of variables that have to be calculated in my loop, and the grand total, whose total is here with tax and without taxes. Okay, is it clear enough? Let's have a look on the code. How does that work? For instance, each time I click on a customer, I click on Alman. Okay, I have a specific customer selected. I'm going to call a method called build invoices. In this invoice, I'm going to query invoices for this specific customer. I know I have one invoice. Okay. Then for each invoice, I'm going to loop because I may have more than one invoices. And for each invoice, I'm going to query the invoices lines. I'm going to initialize some variables. I'm going to loop in my invoices lines. And when the loop is over, I'm going to print my final total. So now let's focus on what I do with 4DWrite Pro. First of all, I'm going to get bookmarks for my templates just to be able to retrieve the ranges and create documents starting from these ranges. I make a copy of my WP area, which is my template. And I use the first time I use the insert document in my empty. Empty is my final document. And inside the loop, I'm going to use the invoice line. Oh, this is a generic demo, so I might also have bookmark named main header, but in this case I don't have any, so I will only print the invoice lines, and I will get the range of this this bookmark called invoice line. And I will use the command insert document with the options append plus freeze expressions. Of course, the expressions have to be calculated each time I'm going to insert document, because I'm not in the same article line. So I can have these values that are present in my in my bookmark have to be calculated just to have the real values in my final document. Then I have to summarize the values for the variables. I increment the number of lines that have been already printed. In some cases, I have to insert a footer, a subtotal every time. A secondary footer, in this case, I only have to insert a break. Here it is. And then go on in my loop. And when I'm finished with my loop, I only have to print the final total. But I think you got the idea. Even if the code is not very clear to explain in a couple of minutes, you can see it's quite a regular process. It's just like you copy paste. You get the invoice line and you paste it in the final document. So this was the most simple. That happens here too. Are you still there?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. So in this template, as you remember, I only have 3 bookmarks: invoice line, subtotal, total, because as you saw, the header was inside the template. But you can also have a very complex template, which has a main header, which will appear on the first page, and you have a secondary header that will be printed, included on the page 2 and 3, and etc. You have also invoice lines, which is here. We have fillers if you want to. Let's skip filler. I don't want to explain this. You have subtotal, you have total, you have a secondary footer, which will appear on the first page if there is a second one, which is here on the bottom. And finally, you have a main footer. So you can, if you don't want 4DWrite Pro to put something complicated in the footer, just here, there is only the page number, and in the header, there is only the date. You can also make complicated invoices like this one, for instance. You can see you have a specific header on page 1, and you have another one on page 2. You see on the first page you have a color header and the address, etc. And the other one is more simple. And the footer of the page 1 is in black and white, and there is continue on the next page. And finally, the footer on the page 2 and above are different. So this, so I think you've got the idea. It's a little bit more. I think it's more easy to understand than to explain.
Sure.
So sorry if I'm not clear. I'm going to finally give you a link to something you might be interested to. We have, as you know, a 4D blog that will explain you everything about bookmarks, but there is also another blog. I think it's in this one. No, maybe not. 4DWrite Pro. Okay, here it is. 4DWrite Pro. Read this blog, document creation by programming. And at the end of this blog, you have the example database that you can download already, which is exactly the same that you just saw right now. So I hope I don't have the feeling I've been very clear on this demonstration, but
No,
I think
it was very
it's
good. Yeah, the
okay.
So the approach is that bookmarks themselves can be treated as whole documents.
Yes, the idea is let's go back to the demo. When you have bookmarks, can be retrieved and be you can get ranges that match the bookmarks. And the main change is the command WP new that allows you to create a document starting from a range. This is the very first thing. You can use a range from a document to create a new document from this range. Very, very new, brand new document. And then you have the command WP insert document, which allows you to insert a range from a document template to a target document. So these are mainly the two commands that are used to create this invoice by programming. The bookmarks are only there to find easily the ranges that you want to use. It's just range with names. Okay, you could have range A, range B, range C, but how can you find these ranges? This is the purpose of the bookmarks, to help you to get the range that match. Okay.
Yeah. No, it seems like a much more elegant and flexible way to create a templated report than at least what we currently do here at the museum, which is we use print form and print object.
Yes, I see what you mean, and I think also people that already use For the Right, not For the Right Pro, also use this technique, but they had to have many For the Right documents. One for the header, one for the line, and they could link, build documents, For the Right documents, using many templates in order to build a single one at the end. See what I mean? You had template for the header, template for the footer, template for the every word you want to see in your final document. Now you can use a single template and retrieve the parts you want from the template to be inserted in your final document.
It's much easier to see them all laid out in one document rather than to create separate documents and put them together.
When you see this document and when you want to see the template, where is my main header? You can see it. Where is my secondary header? You can see it. Where is my subtotal? Where is my total? So this is very easy to visualize and to modify. If I want to make the total in blue, and if I want to to change the justification of this, if I want to put it on the left, this way I can do it very easy in a single template. So if I do this, when I go to invoice, as you can see, it's boom, it's ready to work. It works straight. This is really easy to modify, and you can also create your own template. And there is something funny in this in database. There is a tutorial here that tells you how the bookmarks are used. For instance, here I have a header in yellow. I have my lines, my invoice line in pink, and this tutorial, as you can see, I also have my bookmarks, but all the text which is between the bookmarks don't belong to any bookmark. So this tutorial works when you use it to sample it, to print. You see the result? Here it is. So you can see very easily how the final invoice is built using this tutorial. It's at once a tutorial and a template. So if you read this one carefully, you should understand how it works. So I think I took a little bit more time that I was allowed to. So I think I've been clear enough. So that's it for me. I hope everything has been okay this time.
Yeah. Is this tutorial available off the blog there?
Oh, it's in the link I just showed you. I'm going to show it again.
Okay.
So when you go here to, it's the creation document creation by programming.
Okay, great.
So this demo is, you can get it from just here. Just click on here, and we will have the very same demo.
Excellent, excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a couple of comments and questions from viewers. Eric was commenting about how, at least historically, 4D write documents it was interesting dealing with them when you paste a Word document into one. Is there has the support for pasting in Word documents into 4D Write Pro been updated, or can you speak to a little bit about how it plays with Word?
I don't have enough experience with Word. If the question had been with 4D Write, I would have said yes, it works, and you can also open 4D Write documents that works, and they are almost the same. But when you copy paste, of course you will have some differences, but I cannot say how similar or different they are.
Okay. We also have another.
I don't want to lie to you. I will not say, okay, do it. It will work fine. Of course, there will be some differences, but I don't know how far they will be different or not. But the copy paste has been improved. It works. The more it goes, the more it works fine.
Great. What about well? So we have another comment or question from our Reddit live discussion thread from Erlich the Mad. Hopefully he's not mad at anyone here, but is there a good text manipulation plugin? I am looking to be able to do things like some of the PHP oriented text manipulation tools such as right trim, left trim, trim UFC, you first, something like that. Are you familiar with those PHP manipulation tools for trimming?
No, unfortunately, I'm not. So what I can say about text manipulation I should have begun by this. When we started working on 4D Write Pro, and when we were in V15, we said when the V16 will be available, we should be at 100% of what 4D Write did. And I think the goal is reached, almost. But there are more things that you can do with 4D Write Pro than 4D Write. So there is no reason to not to use 4D Write Pro now, especially for our customers that were used to 4D Write.
Certainly.
So that's what I want. I forgot to say that, so I think this is important. You should not delay anymore.
Right. And I guess I might add on the PHP side, if you're not familiar with the ability that 4D itself has to, not you, Roland, but speaking to Erlich the Mad, that 4D has the capability to integrate PHP libraries directly into its framework, and if you didn't want to write those functions yourself, you'd certainly be able to integrate it one way or another within the PHP execute. So look up PHP execute if you're interested in integrating any PHP functionality into 4D. And Eric Naujok also commented that those trim commands that were mentioned relate to the removal of extra white space from the beginning or end of a string. And again, those are either available through PHP execute or through a multitude of other 4D offerings out there. Okay, let's see if we have any other questions here. I'm going to kick the presentation back over to me.
Hey, Brent, I had a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Just was wondering how table support is improved in the new version of Pro.
Oh, am I still online?
Yes.
Okay, we are working on it, and this should be not maybe in the Air 2, but should be in the Air 3 version of V16. We are working on tables. This is our main goal for next version of 4D Write Pro. Tables.
So why did a feature like bookmarks surpass tables?
Oh, because it was also an important request from our customers to be able to use templates and create documents by programming. So we had to make a choice. But trust me, I had news from the developer of 4D Write Pro today, and he's working 1% of his time on 4D Write Pro, and tables is the main subject today on 4D Write Pro. So comments are already present, and there will be more to come. Tables are already supported. When you import documents, HTML documents, tables are supported. They are rendered perfectly in 4D Write Pro. Now we are working on the language and creating tables by programming. So we have already the WP insert table command in our internal version of 4D. So it should be released. I cannot say if it will be in Air 2. I think it's a bit too short, but in Air 3 it should be available.
Definitely seems like big steps are being made with 4D Write Pro currently, and at the speed you're going, the other features will be ought to be following pretty quick, right?
Yes.
Eric Naujak asked, when 4D Write Pro adds a photo or picture, does it insert the photo binary or a reference to the photo, or could it do either?
No, it's binary. But you can also have a link. It already works. You can also insert a link of a photo in 4D Write Pro. The widget does that very. You can see that when you use the widget. You can do it by programming, of course, but you have two ways of inserting photos in 4D. It can be either binary or a link, as you wish.
Okay. So it could do either way then.
Yeah.
The link could be both remote or local on the file system?
Both. Both work.
Cool. Guy was asking, is the template demo available to download? We said, I asked the same thing because I'd like to play with it too, but it's available on the 4D blog, and we can add a link to that blog post on 4DMethod.
Yeah, the database on the database on the blog isn't the template demo; it's the other demo.
Are you sure?
I just downloaded it.
Okay. I'm confused. Okay.
It's called HDI W4DWP insert doc.
Oh yeah, this is the first. This is the out of the. Okay, I think it's the same how do I that the second one I showed you. So this demo shall be available soon. Sorry about the confusion. I thought this one was the. Oh, it's only the how do I. Okay. Sorry.
Roland, are you working on another blog post that will have that demo, or can you pass that off to 4DMethod to post?
I don't have the answer right now, but trust me, I check out and I give you the answer as soon as possible.
Okay. Well, we'll if we are notified of that, or if we can get a link to that, we'll certainly put that up on the 4DMethod site so that people can go directly to it, or at least to the updated 4D blog post. Whatever.
I think we could put both databases on this blog.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, UI and the document creation by programming.
Okay. Well, I think that's it for the questions, unless anyone else wants to jump in there.
I had one thing to pipe up about. In the very beginning of the meeting, you were asking about the picked images and will they display in V16. I just got a quick answer to that, which was in 64-bit, it definitely does not, but it may still display in a 32-bit app.
Is the QuickTime compatibility option still available in V16? I haven't looked at that myself.
Yeah, I didn't ask that specific question, so I can't answer that.
Okay. Well, that's
4D is completely independent of QuickTime now. It doesn't use QuickTime at all. Never.
In V15, I can say from experience that there is a compatibility option for legacy, for older systems, that makes itself available to allow you to re-enable QuickTime support. And I guess I'm just curious. Oh,
yes, we're talking about V16 right now, 64 bits, right?
Right. That's my question: is if that will be carried, if that's carried forward.
The picked format is no more supported by 4D. That's
toast.
I have to be very clear about this. Picked are not supported anymore.
Okay. All right. Yep. All the more important to be able to locate them in your structure, as the knowledge base article was showing that could be done in the new MSC. Okay. Anybody? Any other questions, comments? Otherwise, I'd like to wrap it up and thank Roland for an excellent demo. And thanks for joining us to do that.
Oh, it was a great pleasure for me. I really like to chat with you guys.
Thank you. A little bit about our next meeting. Our next meetings are always described and posted. The dates are available on the schedule tab of the website, 4dmethod.com/schedule. The next meeting is on March 1st. And for the demo, who knows, it could be you, and that would be wonderful. We don't actually have a demo scheduled. Hope to get something on the books for that date and for the following dates. But definitely send in your ideas, and if there's something you'd like to show off, or just something that you find interesting that you'd like to demo, let us know, and we'll put it on there. Any other questions in general for 4D or otherwise? Discussion, feedback is always appreciated. Let me know how you like the meetings and what else you'd like to see. I'll just take a quick look online real quick. Doesn't look like there's anything else there, so we'll just wrap it up, and I'll see you guys next time.
Okay, thanks a lot, Brent.
Thank you, Brent.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Roland.
Thank you,
Thank you, Roland.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye. See you as soon as possible.